connected back to Mr. Umesh Dalal, one of my ex-boss and a mentor for life. Uh, so it is certainly a big moment for me. Right now on Skype, we are having this Dil Se conversation with Mr. Umesh Dalal. So, sir, first of all, so so much thank you to you that you are accepted my invitation and coming over here in this platform and giving me this opportunity to have a conversation with you.
It's a pleasure and it's an honor, Ganga. I mean, I've been seeing some of these videos and I thought this seems interesting. And as we should, I thought I must come along and support and do whatever little I can to take this forward. So it's an honor, absolute honor to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So just for the audience, I mean, I need to give you an introduction. Although you have a very, large experience in the trade of hotel business. So you started your career with Oberoi Group of Hotels. You started your career with Trident and Ramvilas. Then you moved to Claridge's, and then you work in different hotels. So I remember that we worked together in Intercontinental Eros. Uh, there you were serving as director in food and beverage, and then you moved to Crown Plaza Gurugram as director in food and beverage, and now you are in London with Crown Plaza Hotel again as EAM. So
Yeah.
long journey, and I'm sure I've not covered most of the hotels. Uh, there are certain little information that I have about your profile. So I would like you to correct me where I missed your journey.
So you covered all of it apart from the two hotels that I worked with in UK. That was pre me moving to India, which was Thistle Hotel in Brands Hatch and the Nook in St. Albans. I also did work with Marriott in India, which was Courtyard Gurgaon. That was my first hotel after I moved back to India. So we will touch base about that hotel and that experience later on. But yeah, you pretty much covered all the hotels and all the organizations that I've been connected with.
Right, sir. So this particular initiative, I have said this many times, that I've started during the lockdown when the COVID-19 was impacting the entire world. So I cannot, leave this particular part of not talking about the COVID-19 impact on hotel business. So the first thing that I want to ask you is, what is the current scenario in and around area that you live in the UK right now?
So the Crown Plaza that I'm working with, Ganga, is located in the city in Blackfriars, which is central London. We could equate it to Connaught Place of Delhi, if that puts it more in perspective. So that's where this hotel is located. It's surrounded by lots of multinationals, Deloitte, Unilever, McKinsey. They're all kind of next door to this hotel. So this particular area has been really badly affected by the pandemic. We do see a trend of a lot of leisure guests, inbound hotel business, where these people aren't able to or don't have the confidence to travel abroad or don't want to travel abroad, are now actually using this opportunity for a staycation or coming in to use centrally located hotels for just leisure purpose, which normally wasn't the case. But that's completely changed now. August also typically is a holiday month in Europe.
Okay.
So you don't really do a great amount of business. And then topped up with the current scenario, it isn't really good. Having said that, September is looking brighter. It's nowhere near to what we would have been doing normally. However, it's better than what we originally thought. So, I mean, in a normal scenario, September for this hotel and for this market, we trade around 80% occupancy. But in the current scenario, we're forecasting something around 25 to 30. And if we do that, we're considering ourselves lucky.
Wow.
So that's how business is now.
Okay, great. So, sir, you had a very extensive career in the trade of food and beverage. And as I mentioned, you have worked with multiple brands, multiple hotels, not only in India, but in UK as well. So how do you see your journey? Starting from, Oberoi, now you're in London, you're working in a different country altogether in a different profile. How do you see your journey?
So I mean, I'm sure anybody that you ask around in the hotel industry, Ganga, people would kind of say what they started off with or what they had in mind. I definitely never thought that I'm going to make it to this in hotel industry. I mean, it's difficult and it's a lot of hard work, which I'm sure we all do. And I've also done that in my career. But I thank Almighty and I thank you, thanks to all the colleagues and everybody who I've been associated with. I think I've just been slightly bit more fortunate than a lot of other people that I've managed to get so far. I mean, I started in 2002 when I was when I finished my hotel management, and I joined F&B purely because I thought this just seems right. I mean, you really had to be very good looking to be in front office. You've got to be very hardworking to be in housekeeping. I thought F&B will be just the right fit. Lots of hard work, looks do matter, but not as much. So this will be the perfect ground. I didn't know what lied ahead, and I really don't know how I managed to get through it. As I said, it's a lot and a lot of hard work. I mean, you come from food and beverage, so you know what is a sort of a hardship that comes along with working in hotel in general, let alone F&B. So yeah, all of that happened one experience into another. Looking up to people who were working in the leadership roles then, learning from people such as yourself who worked alongside. And I think this whole thing collectively helped me to get to where I am today.
Right, sir. So my next immediate question is, there are a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure the young generation would be watching this video later on once this will be live. And I mean, there's just some sort of a, a thought in the mind in people's head, especially for the students, those who are either passing out from the college or they are still in the college, and looking at the current scenario, the hotels are shut, the businesses are struggling. Uh, there are many, people like us, those who are serving in the hotel, they are sitting at home right now. Either they are on leave without pay or pay cuts or laid off. So this scenario is creating some sort of a disturbance in the mind that whether we should continue in this industry or should we, give a second thought to move on to a different industry, right? So everybody wants to understand, or maybe to get some kind of a wise advice from people like you, that what is the way forward.
Right. So I'm going to split this into two, Ganga. One for all the future talent who is still in hotel management and aspire to get into the hotel industry, and what is it that they could take out of the current situation. And my advice to them is they're very technologically sound. Somebody who's coming out of a hotel management school has technology at the tips of their hand, and they should pursue this. They should bring that freshness. They should be looking at different ways of working in hotel industry, and this is the time for us to do them. This is the time for them to do it. They should utilize this time to review and revise how can the ways of working in industry be changed, and that's what they could add to the industry. For a lot of people like ourselves who are either working or are being furloughed or are currently not too sure if they have a job, don't have a job, what future holds, my advice would be have patience. I know we have never gone through such difficult times. We're talking about the tower attack, we're talking about World War, we're talking about everything that has happened in history, and nothing equates to COVID-19. Having said that, I think one thing that's come out of the entire thing is how strong we all stand today as hoteliers. Our community has come together. The entire hospitality sector, be it hotels, be it aviation, be it restaurants, bars, pubs, we all have come together and we have all said we all are here for each other. And this is the time for us to do that. And I know all of this does not help to get the bread and butter for the family. So those who are actually struggling, I'm putting it out and open as well on this media, to say if I could help in any way, I'll be more than willing to. However, I know we all have that little pocket of comfort of certain someone who we can reach out to at this time for help and support. Times are bad, but they're not going to be bad forever. I mean, look at China. They are bouncing back. The business
Absolutely.
is
Yes.
trading back to better than what they originally thought.
True.
Traveling is an inherent behavior. It's not going to go away.
Very
It
well
is
said.
going to be difficult for this year. It will be difficult for certain time in 2021, but it isn't going to be there long term. So hold on, hang in there, give it time, and things will bounce back to normal.
Right. So talking about particularly about F&B. Now F&B is one segment which has a difficult time to face in coming times, because now in India, I would say the season has approaching. I mean, it is. I'm talking about the wedding season, which is approaching from maybe October or November. Now with the catering, reduced catering size, now the government has a new terms and condition that you cannot have a a social gathering for more than 50 people, or else if you are coming to the five-star or restaurants, any standalone restaurants, you have to have a a certain distance between two tables. So you have a limited seats to offer. You have limited F&B to offer. So in that particular scenario, how do you see F&B trend changing, or maybe accepting a new normal of a new pattern business?
See, I mean, it's going to be almost a year that I moved from India. But when you talk about F&B trends in India in general, India is changing. India is the market. We do see fine dining and the world-class restaurants making their way to India. We do also see the food vans, the concepts that probably has not been seen before coming up in India now, and they seems to be doing well. People are getting very experimental. They are ready to go out and eat out, which is all very different. I mean, look at for that example, look at Cyber Hub. There's another eatery that's come by the national highway. I can't recollect, 32 Milestone, and they all seems to be doing well. So when we talk about F&B per se from a restaurant and bar perspective for hotel as well as standalone, they have a bright future in India and all across the world, because we're not going to stop eating out. People aren't going to stop eating out. That's going to continue and that's going to happen. So while it's a temporary phase for us to figure out what we're going to do, it is a business that's going to flourish. When you talk about banqueting, yet again, I mean, we know how much people spend for weddings and how much ego plays a role when it comes to social events in India.
And I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. When it comes to Indian wedding, it has to be a big fat Indian wedding.
The fat Indian wedding, yeah, they're not going to go away. So even though government has the regulations in place, I would just say respect them. Therefore, everybody's safety and well-being. And it's not going to be long ago before we hear these restrictions going away, and then we can again come back in the full swing. So it'll all come back.
Right. So I always look up to you as a one person who's very much technology driven. You're a tech savvy person, and you always take assistance of these new tools to improvise business and business trends. So now, since we have a COVID-19 situation in the globe, so how do you see this technology helping our business to promote, to the audience that we are catering, or we have a the target audience. So like, I'm talking about the different apps or digitalization of the menu, or other tools that any hotel or maybe F&B restaurants would be kind of taking assistance to reach out to the people and let them know that we are doing this to protect you or to protect property or to avoid COVID-19 impact or any kind of infection in the restaurants or hotel. So how much do you think the technology will play a part here?
I think it's going to be there for a long time, Ganga. I mean, thanks you called me that I'm quite technologically savvy. I would love to hear more of that. But as much as you think, I don't think I am. But yeah, technology in hotels or hospitality is going to be there. Will make its way and will remain for a longer time. In fact, I'm sure this will change our ways of working in times to come. I mean, me having worked in industry for almost good 18, 19 years, I always thought you are bringing in technology to take out the element of a conversation or hospitality. How can that happen? They don't gel together. They don't talk to each other. We are known to be talking to people, giving them that experience. That's what we do in hotel. And now all of a sudden you're saying you're going to bring in an app where you could place your order. Nobody's going to talk to you. How is that all going to happen? But I see that happening now. You know, and I must tell you something. It's reduced our work. I mean, as bad as it may sound, it has reduced our work on the floor. There are still opportunities for you to touch base with guests and create those wow moments. Wearing masks currently doesn't help. But when I look at it in a longer term, in a world where we would be living without a pandemic, and people will have to use the apps to order or to check in, I think it's going to be fabulous. I mean, think of it. You and I go into a restaurant, we're sitting there, and we're having to wait for somebody to come and take our order. And this guy has no idea we are ready, or maybe he wants to take, we're ready to order and he doesn't want to, he's got another table to look after. So we are living at a mercy of somebody else. And our experience may go for a toss. And in the new world, you could just sit on a table, you could just look through what's there, what you want to order, place your order, and it's on go through. Even before you know, somebody comes onto your table with your drink saying, this is what you ordered. So it's going to change, and I think it's going to change for good. It isn't one of the best things that's happened to the industry, but I think some of the things that it's going to leave us behind will be things that we'll think and will thank, probably not the coronavirus, but the situation in general.
Yes, but certainly we cannot think of our industry without humans, because if you don't have a human, you cannot create heartfelt moments.
So absolutely.
For that, you have to have a human element always available in F&B or maybe a hotel.
Yeah, that heartfelt moment rings a bell.
So I want to ask you, I mean, you have been very successful in every role that you have performed in different properties and different, positions. What is the mantra of success? I'm not asking about your success, but I'm saying, what if somebody has to take something from you? What would you say that this is the mantra, or maybe some sort of a path to follow to reach to your goal, to reach to your one particular destination where you aim when you start your career? You want to become a general manager, or maybe a food and beverage manager, or maybe you take a small step. First, you become associate, and then your target is to become executive, and then restaurant manager, and then moving forward. So, what do you think the one person should take a small step, or maybe a goal, or maybe some sort of a thought in the mind that if I do this, if I take this path, probably I will reach to that level within 10 years or 15 years of my time. What's your point on this?
I'll give you one word, Ganga, and I'm sure everybody will be watching this video would say we've heard this so many times. But I'll elaborate on that a little bit further down. And that one word is attitude. And I know I always heard it while I was growing up the ranks. And I tried to think it the way I thought is right. However, I think a lot of our new generation or the young hotel management students struggle to think, what do we talk about attitude? I mean, is it, what's the right attitude or a good attitude versus a bad attitude or wrong attitude? So when we talk about attitude in hotel industry, we talk about you willing to work in a different environment, in a different atmosphere, you thinking beyond your shift patterns and working hours and your own department. So for example, if you are working in restaurant and if you have to mop the floor, then so be it, you mop the floor. You don't question and say, it's not my job, or I should get housekeeping to do this. And we all have done that at some point or the other. It's not a question you shouldn't question the task that's at hand. You should just get on and do it, irrespective of your position. So that attitude is going to take people to where they want to. Alongside that, you have to be hardworking. There's no shortcut to success. You have to work hard, and you know what? I think we all kind of aspire to get to wherever we want to get to, but there isn't a stoppage. You don't stop. I mean, we've all given whatever we could have given to the industry, but if I was to say I've reached to a level and I think I don't have to work hard now and I can relax and just get on with it, that day doesn't come. That probably will be the day when you retire and you say, I'm going to go ahead and not have to deal with my professional life. But until you continue to work, irrespective of the position you are at, you have to have the right attitude. You've got to be very, very hardworking, and you have to be patient in our industry. And as well as you have these three things as your mantra, you are setting yourself up for whatever goal you set up.
Sir, I also consider you as one of the great leader, and one of the greatest characteristics of your leadership is you are very brave when it comes to creating a team or constructing a team. I clearly remember when I was working under you, and the first interaction I had with you, you clearly said that you have given enough time to one particular property. It is a time for you to move and take a greater responsibility. And you actually encouraged me, you actually inspired me, and you actually helped me to get into a different role moving out from that property. Now nobody would like to do that because you have recently joined to that new property, and you want to kind of start with a team which is already set. And it is always a blessing to have a mix of new people and old people, and to take them along for a new journey. But you are very brave to say this, that it is your time to take a different role, move out, and and you were not afraid of hiring somebody else from outside and then constructing a new team. So when you think about the team, what are the attributes that you always, I mean, or you have in your mind, that I want people to at least follow this particular practices or do this, and this is how you're going to create a great team for work.
Right. So first of all, just going back to the Eros experience, Ganga, when you were there and I joined in, and I remember both of us having the conversation saying, why don't you update your CV? Why don't you put yourself out for different opportunities? And you looking at me, is this guy trying to get me out of here or what? And I must say it was difficult for me because generally you can't control how the other person is taking it. So you've got to be a little mindful having that conversation. But having said that, I think you while you work as a leader, you're not only responsible to deliver the revenues and the profits, you're also responsible for your people. And that to me then and that to me now has always been the way I wanted to operate. I want to operate. I want to continue to operate. It's people who bring the success. It's people who does everything for you. And when you see somebody that they're ready for a role, you got to tell them that they're ready for it. And I also do feel that somewhere we do shy away in our industry by doing that. Purely by doing this, we think we're going to either lose the talent or we're going to give them a boost, which is going to get them overconfident, and they might start jumping on your own toes, which isn't the right thing to do. I have done this. Leaders who I have worked with has done this. So I hope more and more people do it, and we're able to do this more often. But so that's the first part of why did I think of you going into a new role or getting onto something different at that time, because you were absolutely ready, and I should have had that conversation at that time. Going into the second bit of this about how do I look at the team when I'm at a hotel or when I'm being. So the way I look at it, I'll give you a small example. You see, when you've got a river has a water which is always flowing and should always be flowing. By the virtue of this water flowing in the river, there's life, there is fun, there's excitement, there's a lot more that happens, and it keeps on changing People are adapting, and that keeps on changing naturally. On the contrary, you could also have a small little pond, which is very stagnant, and people who live in that pond and the environment and things that are around there are as it is, and not much happens, or the change is not as welcomed. So you've got to look at the team as this river. As far as this team is like a river which is continuously flowing, continuously in harmony, and always ready and willing to change, accept. You are setting up a team for success. The moment you want to convert your team into a pond, you're setting them up for a failure. That's how I look at it, and there are many more anomalies to look at teamwork, or how different leaders look at teamwork. But that's something that I have always visualized it as, and that's always worked for me, and that's how I've looked at it in a background.
Hotel business. If I ask you what you want to contribute towards this industry, or is there anything that you want to, a kind of change that you want to bring into this industry, what that would be?
I think I mean, it's a fairly larger topic, but if I could contribute, I would like to help out people who are new to the industry, people who are just making their way into hoteliering. If I could, in any shape or form, help them by any way, I would love to do that. I mean, time remains a constraint, but hopefully in years to come, that's something at the back of my mind, and I would like to do that at some point.
Right, sir. In fact, I have seen these hotel management graduates. I mean, they come for their industrial training in the hotel. Most of the time, they like, they are enjoying their time. Very few you will see they are very hardworking. Hardworking, I mean, they are hardworking, but they are very not very focused. What they want to, it is just a part of their program that they want to cover. They want to come for 6 months, so they will go to different areas, and the area they like the most, or they are gelling with the people, they are liking that particular area the most. So it is as per their convenience. But is there anything that you want to tell them, that whenever you are there, if you are there for a good 6 months, and you do maybe multiple internship in multiple years, so when you're going to a different property, you're getting some experience and knowledge, they should be optimizing their time and optimizing the potential that they can take from the industry people. So what is your message for the trainees that they're going to the hotel, sir?
My message to the industrial trainees would be, go with an open mind frame. I very often come across students who have done probably a year and a half of hotel management, going into their industrial training, coming with a mindset, I'll join front office, or I'll do 3 months of F&B and rest into this. Don't prejudge, preconceive, and then come in for industrial training. Come with an open frame of mind. It's a great opportunity where you've got so much to learn. Connect with people who are working, connect with guests, talk, gauge the front of the house, back of the house, kitchen, finance, HR. I mean, there's so much more than what's just being taught in the hotel management college. This is your first opportunity to test the waters, deep dive into it, and come out of the richness that hotels has to offer, and then make a judgment of what you want to do going ahead. So my advice would be, go with an open frame of mind when you